Hey guys, what's up? In this video, I want to compare the specs and features of the LG G Pro 2 versus the Galaxy Note 3 Neo. Now, the Galaxy Note 3 Neo and the LG G Pro 2 are both newer devices announced. LG G Pro 2 was announced on 12 February 2014, whereas the Galaxy Note 3 Neo was announced on 31st January 2014. Not much of a difference there in release date. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the display. So we get a 5.9-inch display versus a 5.5-inch display on the Note 3 Neo. And also the display on the LG G Pro 2 is 1080p HD display versus a 720p HD display on the Note 3 Neo. And in terms of the PPI, definitely the G Pro 2 has almost 100 more PPI. We get 370 PPI versus 267 PPI on the Note 3 Neo. And the Note 3 Neo has a Super AMOLED HD display versus the IPS LCD display on the LG G Pro 2. And in terms of the software, we get the new Android 4.4 KitKat right out of the box on the G Pro 2 versus the Android 4.3 Jelly Bean on the Note 3 Neo. And of course, Note 3 Neo will be upgraded to the 4.4.2 KitKat, which is right now available for the GTI 9505, the Galaxy S4, and also the N9005 quad-core version of the Galaxy Note 3, the original Note 3. So yes, in terms of the thickness on both devices, the Galaxy Note 3 Neo is thicker as compared to the G Pro 2 at about 8.6mm versus 8.3mm on the G Pro 2. And also in terms of the weight on both devices, we get a 172 gram of weight on the G Pro 2 versus 10 gram lighter, 162 gram of weight on the Note 3 Neo. And let's talk about the under the hood thing. So we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor versus the Exynos 5 Hexaxore processor on the Note 3 Neo. Now basically the processor on the G Pro 2 has 4 cores, clock at 2.2 GHz versus a 6-core processor, 6 cores which are clocked at 1.7 GHz, and 4 cores are Cortex A7, whereas 2 cores are Cortex A15. Now this is not a powerful GPU we get on the Note 3 Neo. And also in terms of the GPU, we get of course a faster GPU on the LG G Pro 2, which is the Adreno 330 GPU, and also this GPU is on a lot of other devices. So this GPU has better gaming optimization, and it's easier for developer to optimize the game for this GPU because most of the Android devices are coming with this GPU. So Qualcomm is having a great money here. So yes, the GPU on the Note 3 Neo is the Mali T624 GPU. So the problem here is that I'm not sure about the optimization we will get with this Mali GPU. And of course, I have a good experience with the Mali GPU because I personally own a Galaxy S2 with the Mali 400 GPU, and of course the Galaxy S3 and the Note 2 also have a Mali 400 GPU. So the Mali 400 GPU are good in terms of gaming, but in this age we have the Adreno 330 currently leading the market. So if you are a gamer, I would not suggest this GPU have a good performance as compared to the Adreno 330 GPU on the G Pro 2. And I'm going to talk about the RAM. We have 3GB of RAM on the G Pro 2 versus a 2GB of RAM on the Note 3 Neo. In terms of the internal storage, we get 32GB of internal storage on the G Pro 2 versus 16GB of internal storage, which is like 11GB of user available storage on the Note 3 Neo. And both of the devices sports micro SD slot option up to 64GB. So yes, it definitely good specs here on both devices. Now I'm going to talk about the camera department, which is very important. So of course, do keep in mind that Note 3 Neo is a cut down version of the original Note 3. But it's good to compare the specs. So first of all, we have 13 megapixel camera on the G Pro 2 with LED flash versus 8 megapixel camera with LED flash on the Note 3 Neo. And of course, we get different kind of options like HDR, panorama, voice activation, smile detection on both devices. But the difference here, we get a optical image stabilization plus on the G Pro 2, which is a gooder or better version of the optical image stabilization that we get on the G2 and the Nexus 5. So yes, I'm not sure about this optical image stabilization plus is used in the Nokia Lumia Icon, but of course it will be good to compare the specs of the Nokia Lumia Icon to this device, which I'm soon gonna be comparing. So yes, in terms of the video recording, we have 4K video recording as well as 1080p HD video recording with 60 frames per second on the G Pro 2 versus only a 1080p HD video recording with 30 frames per second on the Note 3 Neo. And in terms of the front-facing camera, we get a 2.1 megapixel front-facing camera on the G Pro 2, which can also record 1080p HD video, versus a 2 megapixel front-facing camera on the Galaxy Note 3 Neo, which can only record a 720p HD video. Now, in terms of the battery capacity, we get almost same battery, but a slightly higher battery on the G Pro 2, 3200 mAh battery versus a 3100 mAh battery on the Note 3 Neo. Now, on the paper, the battery life of the Note 3 Neo seems to be better than the LG G Pro 2 just because of the screen, which is 720p HD versus a 1080p HD display on the G Pro 2, and also the PPI, and of course a lower processor, lower clock speed, and also the battery life is still better on the Note 3 Neo. They have put almost a same battery life as the G Pro 2. Samsung has done a great job in terms of keeping the battery in the device. So yes, the Note 3 Neo do offer some easiness, like you can remove the back cover, you can remove the battery, and you can insert micro SD card, and also SIM. Samsung made some very convenient devices, if you know what I mean. So yes, and if you talk about the availability, the Galaxy Note 3 Neo was announced on 30th January 2014, and also this device is also not yet available in most of the market. At least the Note 3 Neo is not available in my country. And as for the G Pro 2, which is announced like 3 days ago, so it's definitely not on the market either. It will be available in March. So yes, quick little video here, comparison of specs. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you do, then please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, and do comment down below, rate which device is better to get, money and other things. Do keep in mind money and other things. So yeah, peace.